Welcome to the FinCool New Employee Onboarding Training. In this training, we will cover clocking in and out, daily maintenance checklist, the job traveler, how to fill out a QC document, and ISO 9001-2015 requirements. Clocking in and out. To start your shift, you'll need to clock in at any of the 6 kiosk locations around the shop. The small blue screen in the corner is where you'll clock in for the day. Click PIN in the lower left of the screen. Then enter your 3-digit employee number, and the screen will confirm that you have completed a time punch. To clock into a job, you will need the job traveler, which will look like this. You can clock into your job at the kiosks. Each kiosk has the E2 data collection screen. First, select Start Job, then put in your employee code, and select Enter. When your employee code is entered, next E2 will request the job number. This is located at the top right of the traveler. You can choose to enter this manually and select Enter, or you can scan the barcode. After that, you'll need the routing step number. This is the other barcode located at the bottom of the page that describes your workstation. The workstation descriptions can be found above the barcodes. Scan the one that best matches your task. You are now clocked into the job. To clock out of a job, first you'll select Stop Job and enter your 3-digit employee code. After entering your employee number, you will be prompted to enter Setup Hours, which is the time spent setting up the part on the machine. This is only used for setup, not for operating, so it won't need to be entered every time. Then enter the quantity of good parts that you made during your shift. And finally, the quantity of parts you scrapped during your shift. And then any comments. If you reported any scrapped parts, you will be prompted to enter a scrap code. These scrap codes are used to explain why a part was scrapped. The scrap code number table can be found on all QC documents for reference. When you are prompted to enter the code, select the one from the scrap table on your QC document that best matches the problem that you had. Indirect labor punches. Every kiosk station has our indirect labor categories. These include material handling, housekeeping, prep and packaging, training, maintenance and repair, tool building, quality, and tool crib. Indirect labor punches are used to track data outside of operating a machine. During your shift, you should either be clocked into a job or an indirect labor punch. To use, first select Start Job on the E2 data collection screen and scan the smaller barcode for the indirect type. Next, scan the larger code to capture your clock-in time. This example quality punch would be used when taking finished parts to QC. Clock out of indirect labor the same way you would any other job. Claim 0 parts, claim 0 scrap, and add no notes. The process of clocking out for lunch or at the end of the day is the same as clocking in at any of the Timeco kiosk locations. First click PIN, Then enter your 3-digit employee number and then receive confirmation that your punch was completed. You are now clocked out for the day. Daily maintenance checklists. Daily machine maintenance. The daily maintenance checklist looks something like this. They'll differ slightly depending on what machine you're operating. This one is for a lathe. They can be found on every machine in the shop, and filling them out allows us to track things like when machines are used, who uses them, and any maintenance that's performed. How to fill it out. This is a filled out machine maintenance checklist. First, you'll add the machine center number. Then you'll write down the day in the month-day format. Then write your initials after you have completed each task on the maintenance checklist. Items on some checklists will require more than just the initials. Like the oil level in this example, you will need to write low, good, or high. When you're finished, have your supervisor check your work and initial. Noting maintenance. At the bottom of the checklist, you'll see the Notes section. Here you can report any concerns, damage, or routine maintenance for our records. This includes things like strange noises you might notice while operating, fluid leaks, filter changes, damage that renders the machine inoperable, or guards and safety features that are not in place. To finish up at the end of the week, you will turn in your filled out checklist to your department supervisor to be filed. Please make sure that your handwriting is clearly legible on these documents. The job traveler. What is a job traveler? The job traveler plays an important part in tracking where a job is at on the production floor and communicates important information like what is being made, the part quantity, the due date, the material, and any job specifications. The parts of a job traveler include the title block, the job notes, the materials list, routing, the delivery schedule, and the sub-assembly list. The title block. In the job traveler title block, you will be able to find the customer name, the part number, the quantity ordered, the quantity to make, any inventory applied to the job, the start date, and the end date. Job notes. The job notes section is where you'll find things like the specific job requirements or any job instructions. Materials list. On the materials list, you'll be able to find the material SKU, which is FinCool's in-house material identifier. How much is needed, which will be listed in square inches for plate and in feet for stick. How much of this material we have in our inventory, the amount of inventory applied to the job, and the amount of inventory that needs to be ordered. Routing. Located in the routing section, you will find the job steps, a description of each step, a total time a step will take, the start and end date for each step, and the run quantity. Note that the run quantity may be different than the total needed for the job. You can refer back to the title block to see if there's any inventory applied to the job if these numbers don't match. The delivery schedule. In the delivery schedule, you will see the release type. The different release types do not indicate that it isn't a live customer job. You'll also find the release quantity. All the quantities here will add up to the total order quantity. You'll find the due date and the comments. In this example, the comments show the customer PO tied to each order. The sub-assembly list. In the sub-assembly list, you will be able to find the job number, the part number, and the part description. The parts listed in the description are what is needed to complete the master assembly. Filling out a QC document. What is a QC document? The quality control document can be found in each job packet along with the traveler and blueprint. It is used to record measurement checks as you make parts. We have unique documents for each department depending on what information is needed. Here's a quality control document for lathe, mill, saw, press, laser and torch, surface grind, and weld. What your lead or setup will fill out. The information that will come from the job traveler includes the job number and the part number. They will also fill out machine information, like the machine number in this example, tooling information, print dimensions, dimension tolerance, and setup checks. These are performed by leads and ensure that parts are within tolerance when the machine setup is finished. What you need to fill out for a quality document includes the date and your initials, and your routine part check dimensions. Additional information you'll write on the QC document will be the machine cycle time, which is how long the machine takes to make one part from start to finish. You can measure this by starting a timer when you load the part into the machine and stopping the timer after you've taken it out. Finally, you'll add the part counts, which includes the scrap count, any scrap codes, and the job total. Dimensions. The dimensions will be filled out by your setup person based on what the drawing or print specifies. Each dimension is numbered on the print to correspond with the QC document. Tolerances can also be found on the blueprint and will be filled in above the print dimension on your QC document. If a part is outside of the listed tolerance, then it is out of spec and may need to be scrapped. Scrap and part count. If you find a part dimension to be out of spec, you should take the following steps. First, circle the dimension on the QC document. Next, notify a supervisor or QC personnel. Assess whether the part can still be used. If it cannot be used, mark it as scrap and dispose of it. You'll fill in how many parts you scrapped total at the end of the day here. Then you can use the table at the top of the QC document to determine your scrap code. Finally, you'll make machine adjustments in order to continue production. The parts count. The job total is all parts made toward the job so far. The shift count is how many parts you made that day. Add your shift count each day to the previous day's job total to find your new job total at the end of your shift. Machine information. Each different type of QC document will require different machine information. Lathe and mill documents need a machine number and an operation number to be circled. Press documents will need a machine to be circled. Saw documents need a machine circled and material specifications. Tooling information also differs depending on the department. Tooling information is required only when it is a new part setup. This is an example for lathe and an example for press. Recording this information helps us set up parts faster when we receive another order for the same thing later. ISO 9001:2015 QC requirements. Measuring instruments. You will be provided with the certified tools needed to check the parts you make. Every measuring tool goes through calibration checks. The sticker on your tools is how you can tell if it's time to have them checked. If you think your tool might be out of calibration, you can take it to QC to be checked at any time. If you ever aren't sure how to use a tool or get a certain measurement, ask your supervisor. Identifying product. Products must have some sort of identification with them at all times. This could be a job traveler, a job number tape, or a part sticker. Be sure that you remove all old identification from containers or pallets that doesn't match the current parts. Mistakes on quality control documents. If you make a mistake on a quality document, these are the steps to take to fix it. Put one strike through the incorrect information, write the correct information, and initial and date beside the correction. Do not scribble out or write over a mistake. All blanks on the quality documents need to be filled unless they are marked by an asterisk. Fincool is dedicated to manufacturing high-quality products, providing timely deliveries, and creating an atmosphere of continuous improvement where all employees strive to keep customers satisfied. We understand that our future lies in the hands of our valued customers.